So this here is residual from that. You see how much more she drops on the right versus she'll get a reaction here, but it's not that bad.
Right.
So it's all residual. So if your hip hurts and it kind of ventures over to this little SI joint, this little bony notch, and kind of like that whole area is inflamed, that's what's happening with this sacrum. I don't believe that anything's completely or wrong with the sacrum. That is residual inflammation from that. Because it's really, really sore, and this leg wants to come up when I get to that right hip. Left pole, right hip, very classic. You're gonna see a great result after this.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, you will. You will. I'm 98% sure that you will. Because what we have found is the pattern that we typically see. When we come out and everything's awry, it's a right pull, right hip, left wither, right wither, which we find that's a mess. Those are the horses that we usually have to, about 2 weeks, we come back out and do a recheck. With something like this, we're gonna talk. Well, we're gonna talk in like a couple of days. We're gonna text or talk, and you're gonna tell me how she's doing. And you're probably gonna say she was sore like the first or 2 days, when you're not gonna do much for the next 2 days anyway. Okay. But then as the days go on, what I typically hear was she started off sore, but man, these last couple of days, the third, fourth, fifth day, things are starting.
God, I hope so.
That's typically what we see. And then we say, okay, this is great, the healing is starting. Let's see how long this lasts. Let's talk in 2 weeks. I call you in 2 weeks, or you call me, right around a possible follow-up. How's Faith doing? She's really, things are still slowly, but steadily improving. I'm not coming back out. Let's see how much better she gets. If she, sometimes there's horses that I think I'm gonna have to come do 2 or 3 follow-ups, and I never come back for 6 months. And some horses, that doesn't happen often, think that I'll get a good result, and every now and then I gotta go back and check a little bit more. But with what we have found and it being so classic, I really do feel you're gonna get a great result.
Hope so.
Okay, so let's go back to the pole. We're gonna start treating you. Make yourself tall on me.
I can't hear you. Yeah.
See? Watch you throw it at. And that's just a pull away. You can see the difference there, right?
Yeah. If I'm gonna do anything besides stand here, let me know.
No, you're good. Don't worry. This is normal. She's actually being really good. Okay. Yep, she's got tired of that. All right, we're gonna get that to feel better. Okay?
Almost.
We're gonna get that to feel better. Okay? You're thinking about it. Come here.
Give me a chance.
And she's smart. She's making herself tall. This is normal for the first time. If she wants to move this way, let's move this way. I'm moving for a second. Remember, far in, yep. Do you have a treat?
No, I can give a little handful of alfalfa.
Yes, we're not there yet. So sometimes with the pole, we'll have the owner put the food here. They get down and I go, but we're not there yet. Let's see.
We don't do treats, we do alfalfa.
I was just about to pull it. Not gonna hit you. I promise. We'll get it. Come here. One more. Good. Oh. Just got one more. pulling away from me. She's not doing that violent head toss.
That was a way thing.
Look at that. Do it one more
I
time.
think she's expecting it to hurt more than it's hurting.
She is, yeah. That's. I like to rub it more like after I set it. I do like to just put my hand here. Just show you.
Hey.
It's not so bad. Not so bad. It's been there for a minute. I've had a headache for a while. All right. Let me see.
Kind of.
I love it. They're smart. They just make themselves big. That was it. That was the best one.
Good. Vicky, big sigh.
Yes. Have it, they'll lift her head. You're not gonna throw it.
Yay.
So far, so good. And that's the hardest one. When the horse does it, when that's never happened to the horse before, and they're already sore there, and she doesn't want you touching anyway, she's gonna toss her head. She's gonna make herself tall. But tossing her head like this is not
It's not
That.
throwing, no, she was throwing it sideways violently.
exactly. And lifting her head's a habit. That's just like, I don't want you to touch me. I'm gonna make yourself tall. I'm gonna make myself tall on you. When she walks up on me, she's smart enough to know if I walk up on him, he can't do that. And that's just another form of her trying to protect herself from me. You know what I mean? So I expect her to do that, especially the first time. Because it's never happened. She doesn't know what I'm doing yet.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So. This is the sword one on the right. This is 5 and 6. Ooh, that was good. Did you hear that? That was a good release.
There's too much football action going on the floor.
We have the noise. Yeah. Just wanted to see that it's not as sore as it was.
Oh, hey.
Look at that.
Yep.
And this is 5 and 6. This is what she
That's
kept.
where it was sore.
Yep, this is where she kept pulling away with. Good. Good.
Very good.
All right, we're going down to the withers. Okay? I'm on the right because we found them to be to the left. So we're going to pull it back to the right. I do like to check the withers again because sometimes when we set the pole and we adjust the cervicals, the withers will release. So a lot of times the compensation area from restriction in the neck will manifest here. If your neck is stiff, it'll start to affect in between your shoulder blades. Same thing.
It's all the guarding.
Exactly. It's compensation and guarding. That's exactly what it is. Okay, there's that. You saw that?
Yep.
One audible. Look,
That doesn't hurt.
you see that in reaction? That was quick. I'm gonna set it a couple more times, very lightly. Look at that. And I'm starting to get peristalsis. I'm starting to get movement in the tummy. So we're initiating bodily function. When we get to the poles and the withers, I'll start to hear movement, and this means we're initiating everything, so we're hitting the right spots. And look at this, there's nothing
There's nothing.
here.
She was real tender there.
Yeah.
It surprises me how quickly.
It's
gets
fast.
better.
It's here's why. My theory anyway. And the reason that humans don't hold as well and horses do, and which I mean what I mean by that is holding the adjustment,
Right.
is that their muscles, most of our misalignments are through muscle activity and guarding. Muscles connect to the spine. Muscles connect to the spine by a tendon. The muscle's tight and short because it's not moving. It's going to pull on the tendon. It's going to create myofasciitis, inflammation of your connections of where the muscles originate and insert, and it's going to pull whatever it's connected to. If it's whatever bone it's connected to, it's going to keep a constant pull on it because the muscle and the tendon is tight and short. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. So when we release all of that, and all we're doing is creating proper motion. That's all it is. Motion is the potion. The more that we move, the better that we feel, right? And that's simply all that we're doing.
And horses are in better shape than most humans.
Yeah.
They are, and their muscles are so much more dense, they'll hold longer than ours. Our muscles are strong, but they're not as strong as a horse, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. So when we set a horse, when I mean set, that means adjusting.
Yeah.
Their muscles will hold so much longer and so much better because they're so much more thick and dense. Whereas ours are strong, but they're quick firing, and the muscle memory, we have to work so long to get that muscle to properly function. Whereas with these muscles, we can set it one or two, and that's why I usually have to come out too much. And that's why I tell people, if you see my bald head once every other month or something like that, then I'm not finding the right things when I come out here. You need to find somebody else because I'm not finding the right thing.
Well, you must be, not surprised. It must be quite a huge difference between adjusting people and horses because people are so much smaller.
And people suck, and horses don't.
No kidding.
That was a bad joke.
No, it's true.
And the horses don't talk back.
And they don't lie.
And they don't
Ever.
lie. That's
Horses
right.
are honest. They have no choice but to be honest.
Exactly. I will show you that reaction that we had in the mid-thoracic is still there, but it's not nearly, there's nothing over here on the right, and there wasn't before. This was very reactive, it's still there. Look how much more minor it is.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how bad she was
It was
dropping?
really bad from there, yeah.
And that's just from us adjusting here and here, releasing these compensations. There's still residual inflammation there, but it's not nearly as reactive. We're gonna get that to go away.
Can we do more of it? Let's some bench again.
Yep. Recheck.
That's wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I know she's been flinchy on her right side because I dragged the rubber sweat scraper over her after I washed her. She flinched away from it.